Hello, this is Giorgio Lucas. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I want to talk about the real estate market in Ukraine's capital, the beautiful capital, Kiev. Now, I'm going to give you 10 reasons why I think potentially this could be a good market to invest in. And at the end, I will also give you pitfalls. So here are 10 reasons why I think it could be a good market to invest in. Number one, the prices are relatively low. So typically, on average, you'll pay $1,200 per square meter, although within the city there are a lot of variations. So on the outskirts, you might pay between $600 to $800 per square meter. But in more desirable areas like the French Quarter, expect to pay over $2,000 per square meter. I also want to add, since 2008, real estate prices in Kiev in US dollar terms have fallen by over 70%. So it would appear now would be an excellent time to invest. Number two are the excellent yields. So expect yields of between 7 to 10%. Now this is fantastic when you compare it to most capitals or indeed other cities in the world. Number three are the low buy-sell costs. So typically total costs of buying and selling together are between 5 to 8%. I'm sure you agree that's low, because in countries like Spain, you'll pay more than 10% for just buying the property. And in Hong Kong, the buying costs alone also are over 30%. Number four, what I also like is that Ukraine is generally it's pro-landlord, so you're able to freely negotiate rents at the beginning and rent increases. Plus, if your tenant doesn't pay the rent for 3 or 6 months, depending on the contract you have with them, you do have the right to evict them. Number five, what I also like is political tensions have eased somewhat between the Ukraine and Russia, and that can only be a good thing for the real estate market. Plus, too, the relatively new president Zelensky is seen as a very, very, very forward-thinking person, and this can only be good for the real estate market. Number six is the economic growth. So over the last few years, Kiev and Ukraine have been growing steadily. So the GDP growth for the following years are 2016, 2.4%, 2017, 3.3%, 2018, 3.3%, 2019, 3.2%. I'm sure you'll agree that's pretty good going. Number seven, which actually is more important, is the inflation rate has come down a lot in the last few years. So in 2015, inflation in the Ukraine was 40%. It came down to 8% in 2019. And as at June 2020, it had come down even further to only 2.4%. That's incredible improvement. Number eight, what I also like, the debt to GDP ratio has been coming down over the last few years as well. So in 2016, it was 80%. And in 2019, 52%. This is an excellent drop, although a lot of it was due to currency, because a lot of the Ukraine debt is foreign denominated. Number nine, what I also like is Kiev has become a major city. Officially, it has 3.2 million people. But that said, the unofficial figures, which do include a lot of the people who come from the war-torn east side of the country, means that the population has grown to 4 million or more. Now, with a larger population, that increases the population density, and this can only be good for the real estate market. Number 10, a lot of the taxation is good. So taxation for holding property in the Ukraine, you pay minimal taxes a year on property in the Ukraine. Rental income tax is about 18% plus 1.5% military taxation. Capital gains tax is 19.5% for selling the property. Having said that, if you keep it for 3 years or more, you'll pay no percent CGT, which is good. Note of caution, you're only allowed to sell one property a year. So if you hold multiple properties, this is not the case. So I've given you 10 reasons why I think it may be a good idea to invest in the real estate market in Kiev. But there are some risks. Number one, there's always that political risk in the Ukraine of an all-out war. We hope that doesn't happen. I don't think that will happen, but you just never know. Number two, which is, I think, a bigger risk than political risk, is the currency risk, because the hryvnia is a currency that fluctuates a lot with the US dollar. And that can cause your investment to go down a fair bit. Mind you, it can go up as well, but do bear in mind that is a risk. Number three, what I also want to point out, prices per square meter in Kiev are actually higher than Sofia in Bulgaria, and Bulgaria is already an EU country, and the Ukraine is not. It's a long way off that. And also, if you look at rents in Kiev, are actually higher than in other EU capitals like Tallinn and Budapest, even though the salaries are lower. So that does say that it's unlikely that rents were going to go up in the next few years. But possibly worst of all, the price to income ratio is the highest in the whole of Europe. So officially, it's very difficult for somebody in Kiev to buy a property. But there is another factor. Officially, salaries in Kiev and Ukraine are very, very low. But there is a very, very strong black market for work in Kiev. So the official figures salaries are much, much lower than the unofficial ones. So it's difficult to tell what the price to income ratio really is. Plus, there is what I call the diaspora. There are a lot of Ukrainians working abroad, in particular in countries like Poland, who earn good money there and bring the money back home and invest it in property. So that price to income ratio being the highest in Europe may not be the case. Anyway, overall, I think it's a good market to invest in. Although what I don't like is that it's sometimes difficult to get official figures from the Ukraine. Even when you scour the internet, you talk to people. So there has to be a word of caution there. But overall, if you do invest, I think you can make some money out of this market. Anyway, I just want to say thanks for watching. Please do watch my other videos as well. I make videos about many different countries and real estate abroad, and plus other videos on investment. And I will be making a lot of videos on investment and real estate, both in the UK and abroad. So please do subscribe to my channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.